Mesachas Nedarim daf Samach Dalid. The Mishnah brings the machlokes Rebelezer and Chachamim. Rebelezer holds poschin la'adam b'kavod aviv v'kavod imoy v'chachamim oisrim, and everyone agrees that you can't pesach a person in the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because even if he's not in the mischaret, he's not gonna be meiz panov to say that even though he was mezalzel in the kavod HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he would have made the neder. So therefore, even though he's not mischaret, he'll say he's mischaret. So therefore, you can't be pesach b'kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Ran and other Rishonim bring from Yerushalmi that says that everyone agrees b'kavod rabbi, you can't be pesach because Morah rabach k'Morah Shemayim. In the Sefer Yodis Nedarim from the Baal Tshuva Shavel Umeshiv asks, what's understanding in this Yerushalmi? Why is it everyone agrees b'kavod rabbi that you can't be pesach because Morah rabach k'Morah Shemayim? Why is Morah rabach more chomer than Morah of kibud of vaeim, of one's father and mother? The Gemara says clearly, hukish kvoid of vaeim, the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the same way Morah rabach is k'Morah Shemayim, who adin the kavod of one's father and one's mother is like the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Yodis Nedarim says, Akoch, you see from this Yerushalmi Raya to the Chiddush, the Prisha, that the Prisha says that's hukash kavod av vaeim to kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not a hekish that shove entirely, and the kavod of av vaeim is not like a HaKadosh Baruch Hu. However, Morah rabach k'Morah Shemayim has the same choyim as Morah Shemayim, so therefore the Yerushalmi understands that everyone agrees that with the kavod of rabbi you cannot be pesach. Moving further on, the Mishnah says v'oidam b'lezer poschin binolad chachamim oisrim. B'chanan asks a tremendous kasha on this halacha that in poschin binolad. He asks, according to what's mavur and Taisis in Ksubis daf Mem Zayin and Beis, that Taisis says that if someone buys an item from his friend, he buys the vaeim, and after he purchases the vaeim becomes a treifa. And Taisis says, why can't he say that's a mekach tois? Because if he would have known that this animal that he's buying from his friend is going to become a treifa, he would never have bought the animal, and therefore he should be able to be chayzer and get his money back because he made a mistake by purchasing this animal. And Taisis explains that since there's a moicher and lekeach, and they both don't know what the situation will be after the time of the purchase, and they both agree to make the purchase according to the situation that they have in front of them, and they're putting themselves into the suffix, not knowing what may happen to the item after they buy it. So therefore, anything that happens after the purchase is not considered mekach tois. So B'chanan says that you see from Taisis that b'yisoida, even something that comes after the purchase could make the purchase into mekach tois because he didn't have in mind to buy a behemoth that would become a treifa right after the purchase. And it's only because there's two parties in the transaction, so therefore it's not a tois. So he says that specifically by mekach hamemke you have a moicha and lekeach. However, by a neder, that there's only one person involved, one that's making the neder. So why isn't a neilad also a tois? And he should be able to be seach a neder with neulads. Mvu in the sugyam and beis that the Rabbanan hold he can't be seach. Neulad is a svara, and they learn out of pasuk according to Belaz that he could be seach neulad. And it's very hard to understand the reason why neulad doesn't make the neder into a tois. So B'chanan says that's mvu in the Ranam and beis that specifically a neulad l'shchiach doesn't make the neder into a tois. So he wants to say that tois in Ksubis is only referring to something that comes afterwards, that's shchiach. Tzarchim is eine shurim from Shmuel Azovsky that asks a similar kasha on the mabit. They brought in the shurim le'el, the chafei, nun beis, and nun tes, that the mabit says the tremendous yisoid that you could be seach a neder with a shaila and a toys, be a said you don't need a shailas chacham, and since if he would have realized the situation, he would have never made a neder, so therefore, be'etzem a neder is a toys, mitzaratzmoi, and b'derais, you don't need a shailas chacham. So Shmuel asks, if that's the case, that's a regular din toys that you find by Nedarim, then it's hard to understand according to toises. In Ksubis, even a toys that's noilad should also be considered a toys, because the same way regular toys is an allgemeine toys in Charatah kulos, so who did a toys that was noilad afterwards should be included in the toys. So Shmuel says the answer is that when the chacham is matter and neder, he's not matter medin toys, rather medin shkogos. He's making the neder into neder shkogos, because see, you don't need a umden the muchach, and for a heter of shkogos, you need the toys at the time of the neder. And the kasha of Rabbi Chanan, the answer according to tremendous yisoid from Bachber and Reb Shimon and Raftoli, mentioned in the previous shurim. Eine Shin Daf Beis, Daf Chav Hey, and Daf Chavov, and Oid Shurim. The Bachber and Shimon say that's a tremendous chilik between the das that you need for a neder, the das that you need for a kinyan, and the din tois by Nedarim is cholik be yisoid the din tois by kinyanim. Because be'emes, the chalais neder is a chalais ha-Torah, and as long as you have das to make the meister neder, that's enough das to be mashva a neder, and since you know you made it schal, the chalais ha-Torah, that is a neder. So as long as you have das for the meister neder, there's enough das, you don't need das for the chalais. So therefore they say there's a din mesuyim that is a toyis and ikka neder, that's mashve, the neder into a neder toyis. So according to this, you could say that's mushav hated. That Rabbi Chanan asked that who a din, a toyis that comes after the neder should also be considered a toyis. You could answer that toyis exubis is specifically referring to a toyis in mekach. They need gemiras das for the actual chaloyis. So in such a situation, that there was a toys, you didn't have in mind to make the kinyan. However, by neder, you only need das for the meiser neder. You can't make the neder into the neder toys by a dovo that was noilad afterwards. Moving further on, the Ran and other Rishonim bringing from a Yerushalmi that asks on Charatah after a neder, it's noilad, and the Yerushalmi says that Charatah is mitzuya, and therefore it's not considered noilad. And that goes from Baron Yafin on the Ritva, there is a tremendous kashi. He says the choyu that the Yishalmi has a shakavitario that Charatah should be considered noilad is totally a tremendous machlokes Rishonim, and the geder of that they could be peseach on neder with Charatah. We mentioned the shir the El Daf Chav Beis that these three shittas in Rishonim the gabe that a chacham could be oiker neder with Charatah. The sheet of the Ran is that these two separate halachas, there's a Pesach and Charatah. Pesach is that you're making the neder into a toys, and if you would have known this situation, you would have never made a neder. However, Charatah is not a Charatah at the time of the original neder, it's a Charatah afterwards, and you're regretting making the neder, but it's not making the neder into a neder toys. However, the shita of the Ritva is that Charatah is also midin toys, the fact that you mischar it and regret making the neder, that Gufa makes the neder into neder toys. And the third shita is the shita of the Rambam that learns that a Pesach that makes the neder into neder toys doesn't work only because it's a toys, only because you mischar it and you regret making the neder is the neder mutar. So Baron Yafin asks that Bishlam, like the Ritva Lishitasa, it's very good. The Yerushalmi asks that a Charatah also, how could you be peseach a neder midin Charatah? It's noilad. However, according to the other Rishonim, they're not making with the Charatah the neder into a mistake, but it's a new halacha, the fact that you regret making the neder after making the neder is a new halacha, that the Charatah could be oiker a neder, doesn't make a difference. the fact that the Charatah is binolad, nevertheless, since you're not making the neder into a neder toys, the Charatah should be able to oik the neder. And vaeim, he brings it there. Morah says that Charatah after the neder doesn't have a chesaron of binolad. And he says the Charatah doesn't stem with Ritva, and it's because according to Ritva, it's mostly midin toys, and it's hard to understand according to the Yerushalmi, because the Yerushalmi says the reason why Charatah doesn't have a chesaron of binolad is because it's shchiach. And according to the Morah, it's not because it's shchiach, it's because there's no problem of binolad by Charatah b'chlal. And I am the Rambam that says the reason why you can't be pesach binolad is because you're not mischarit on the ikar neder. If you make a neder, you're not going to have enough employment. It becomes a sefer. You're not mischarit in the fact that he made a neder. You'd rather the fact that he was not a sefer, but you're not mischarit in the fact that he made a neder. So therefore, it's not a charatah to be oiker the neder. So the Rambam is very good in Shitosai that according to the Rambam, the Yisoid in every Pesach is within Charatah. So the Yisoid, why binolad can't be oiker neder, is because you're not mischarit on the ikar neder. So was a blazer hold. And in the case of Mishnah, they asked that the Rambam is not machalik between binolad the shchiach and binolad lo shchiach. However, the Mishnah learns in the Rambam that the Rambam is machalik between binolad the shchiach and binolad lo shchiach vaeim sham.